Born and raised in San Diego, he's a DJ, producer, and a musical artist who's making waves in the EDM music scene. His music has been played by well-known artists such as Tiesto, Martin Garrix, the Chainsmokers, and Loud Luxury. Please welcome Cheyenne Giles.
Welcome back to Two Fries Podcast, aka the #1 podcast in Winnipeg, where we document the rise and start of not only Winnipeg talent, but international talent now.
Hey.
Please welcome Cheyenne Giles.
Woo. Giles.
Giles?
Giles.
Oh, I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
No, it's okay. Everyone gets it wrong. I just that's why I have to go like Giles.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, the photo guy earlier, he's like, oh yeah, just we're gonna do a soundbite for you, and just make sure you say your name, Cheyenne Giles. And I'm like,
oh.
Hey, at least we didn't mess it up that bad, right?
Yeah, we've been rehearsing all day. Just
It's like the one
It's
name.
hard. I mean, G for a J sound is kind of weird. Like,
yeah, sure.
All right, let's dive into your journey, man. Like, you're at the top of your game right now. I'm sure it wasn't always like this. So take me through the walk of how you started and what made you get into this music scene.
Man, it's been such a journey. Like, I started this when I don't want to age myself, but I've been DJing for at least 15 years, and I just started catching a break like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it took me 12 years of grinding and DJing for free sometimes, and then I'm from San Diego, so I just took over like. Actually, it's kind of the way I got my start is I started as a busser.
Yeah.
And not even a DJ. And
Okay.
then I had a place that had DJs, and then I was like, no, sorry if I
No, you're good. You're good.
And I saw that they had DJs, and I was already wanting to be a DJ. Like, I already knew about it, and I always was into like 8-track and Qbert, and not as more of like a DJ that plays music to like dance, but more of a cut DJ. Like that's what I was into, like the Scratch, the DMC World Championships.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted turntables so bad, but my parents would not. I didn't have the money for them, so I'd had to go to my parents to try to buy me them, and then they would never do it because, I mean, it's just expensive. And records are super expensive, and that's all there was. At that time, Serato had just came out, but it wasn't like, I didn't know about it. And then just by chance, I went to Guitar Center on my birthday with my grandma to buy a guitar, and the guy who was showing me guitars, he's like, well, why don't you I guess he's from Pro Audio where the DJ stuff is, and he just like randomly, he's like, well, let me show you my section, and then brought me over to the DJ stuff, and then showed me and my grandma like what Serato was. And that's how I just talked to my grandma into giving me that, and then it was all she wrote after that.
Sure.
It wasn't all she wrote. Actually, I just started doing like high school parties in garages for the longest time, and then I was just a bedroom DJ. I wasn't even doing gigs. I was working as a busser at the clubs downtown, and then it kind of just graduated as I got a little bit better, and then I don't know, it was just so different back then. Sure. The grind was so different. It took a bunch of different turns, but
You're here now.
Yeah.
You're here now.
Yeah, that was just the most horrible
No.
explanation.
No.
We're all about the rise, right?
Yeah.
204 Rise. We want to represent our city, and that's why we ask about your journey, because there's probably a lot of Winnipeg people, Winnipeg young musicians who strive to be like yourself, right?
Yeah,
and
just stick with it.
Stick with it,
dude. I was about to quit 3 years ago. I was literally looking into real estate, and that was literally when my music, like 2 months after that, Tiesto saw Loud Luxury playing my song at a festival, and then I saw him. I even saw the comment that he posted on Loud Luxury's post, and he's like, "Whose remix is that?" And then they posted my name, and then the next day I had Tiesto in my DMs, and saying like, "I want to sign you."
Wow.
What's that feeling like? Were you jumping around?
At the point where I was at DJing, I was DJing 3 or 4 nights a week, just grinding, and I was just like getting nowhere though. I was working, but it was getting a lot of the same. Like every day was the same club, same bar, and I needed the next step, or I needed the next step in my life where I was like, I just can't keep doing this like again and again. Luckily, Tiesto found my music, or I'm gonna say like it wasn't by luck. I was putting out okay, this is my advice to any young DJs.
Uh-huh.
Put out content. You gotta like keep putting out music. You gotta like give to the DJ community for them to give you back. Like,
100%. Yeah.
like if you're not putting out bootlegs, if you're not putting out music, if you're just playing other people's stuff, you're never gonna be a good enough DJ to get booked.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, like you can be the best DJ in the world, scratching and you can do all these tricks and bring all your friends, but like if you don't have the DJ support behind you and you're not like the DJs aren't messing with your stuff, you're gonna get nowhere. So as soon as you start, I feel like I'm still that way. I'm still the DJ. Like a bunch of DJs know me more than the retail market yet.
Sure.
I'm still like a underground name, but most of the DJs know who I am because I put out content, like not like Instagram content, like music.
Yeah.
Like I put out edits, I put out just edit packs, like all that kind of stuff, and I get played in clubs like every night.
Yeah.
So once that started happening, that's when my career actually went somewhere. Like it was really hard at first, but if I have any advice to any young DJs coming up is to keep putting out music and give back to like. Give your homie a good edit to play at a club, like, because once he plays that, somebody's gonna ask him who made that, and then it's just gonna, it just snowballs from that.
And, I mean, was it a lot of word of mouth, or was it like pure grinding where you had to build your base? Like you laid the foundation every single day, and then it slowly started picking up from there.
Definitely laid my base, but like I said, you can't really lace a big base locally.
Right.
Like it's just gonna be your homies that see you. Like, and
couple friends.
Like, and I wasn't like in LA, and I wasn't in New York where like it's like everybody comes from all around the world to see me. So I'm just in San Diego. It's kind of like a little. I mean, it's not a small town, but it's not like LA and it's not New York. It's not Vegas. I definitely wasn't getting managers coming into the club all the time and like seeing me play. So you got to just put your music out there, get other DJs to play it that are in those markets, or get Alesso started playing my stuff. Like the only reason I got big is because bigger DJs found my music somewhere, and it wasn't through me. It had to just pass along to DJ to get somewhere.
Sure. I mean, sometimes when you look at like successful people and they say what's the thing? They say just work hard, right? But sometimes it's not always sunshine and rainbows. Like if you put out a music, there's no guarantee you're gonna blow off the next day.
Absolutely not. Actually, my last song that I put out, I feel like it's great, and it has 30,000 streams. Like I'm still not there. Like, you still gotta grind. I mean, I gotta take the hits when they come too. Like I thought this song, I was gonna put it out and it was gonna be 1 million streams. And it just wasn't. Like it just don't get discouraged at that kind of stuff because numbers don't really matter on Spotify and SoundCloud. It's about like the brand and like your, I don't know. It's a lot of things. It's a culmination. You got to just be on point at everything, and that's when it all starts to happen. And then advice for young DJs is don't be weird about asking for help from other people. Like if you're not good at drums or you're not good at like mixing, like have somebody else mix your record. Or if you're like, send it to somebody else and be like, yo, can you try like your drums on this or something like that? That's how actually I became really good friends with my friend Noctu, like that. We actually did that like with each other. Like I was really good at sound design and writing, and he's really good at like sample like manipulation and like really laying really hard, thick, aggressive drums. And like once we put our together, like that's when it started to make sense. And we're like, oh, like. And then if you really look at these big guys like Diplo and Tiesto and stuff, if you look on their, they have so much help on all their songs.
Yeah, of course.
So don't be ashamed by it, because I mean, yeah, if you're a Skrillex and you can do it all by yourself, like, that's cool. But if you have the resources, I would say to like maybe like put out or ask for help. Just ask for help.
Yeah, it's a collaborative project, right?
Because you're going against titans with a boardroom of people.
Of course,
like if you look at if you were to ever watch like Martin Garrix's YouTube show, like episode 3, it's crazy. I was watching that like on the way here, and I was just like, dude, for his visuals, he has a boardroom of like 30 people.
Yeah.
And like for his show in Ultra, he had like 30 people in one room like working on his show, and I'm like, dang, like this is what I'm against.
Yeah.
Like I don't have the money for that kind of stuff.
Sure.
And so to get to that level, it's gonna be really hard for me. But you can do it. Like you see people like A-Craze, like in how far he's come in 1 year. And so the opportunity's still there.
Do you ever feel like you're at a disadvantage because of that? Like because the industry is...
I mean, they all had to start the same way.
Right.
I mean, yeah, everyone came from, just keep working at it. Like Martin Garrix didn't start with a team of 30 people.
Yeah.
He was 16-year-old in a room in his bedroom, put out Animals, and it hit. And then now it gets to that. And now it's just hard to knock them off the throne when they're that. But anyone can get there.
Sure. During those times when, like you said, you just find yourself catching a break recently, how come? What kept pushing you? Why go through all those hard times and moments of like, I cannot do this, but I really want to do this?
Because I made DJing my only job. I had to rely on it.
Yeah.
That was my only source of income. And I was doing well as a local DJ. I bought my house on it. Like in San Diego, it's a really hard market. I was making good money.
Yeah.
But to get to the next level, it takes a little bit more.
Sure.
What made you want to take it to the next level? Like obviously you're making money, right? You have that house now. Like you're doing well off. Like
I mean, it was always just a dream of mine.
Yeah.
I just wanted to travel the world and play the big stages, and I just felt like I could do it. Like I felt like I had it in me. So I don't know. I just growing up, I always had a thing for music, and I don't know. And just when I was in San Diego, I became I kept getting awarded the best DJ in San Diego or the best producer of San Diego, and I'm like, dang, like if anybody else was just hearing my stuff other than San Diego, I feel like maybe I can go to the next step. And I mean, it finally did, but it just took a long time.
Yeah.
Agree.
I mean, it's not like that for everyone.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, a lot of people jump on in 3 years, they just blow up. But my journey, for the first 2 years, I DJed for free on Thursday nights.
Yeah.
And then I just got like $300 gigs like for the next like 10 years. $300 to $500 gigs. Like that's how much you would get paid.
Yeah.
In San Diego. And then just till recently, and then all of a sudden that just blew up. But I mean,
was it more about getting the reps in and like figuring out how the actual DJing works, or did you already have that like natural instinct of like, yo, this is when I'm gonna switch the track? Or
I mean, it's different. Even like every set is different,
right?
And it depends on how long you're gonna play or how quick you're gonna mix out. But I'm usually a quick mixer because I come from that turntablism like background. I just like to cut in and out of stuff, and I just like to be quick with it. And you know, like in this day and age, when people are they don't have an attention span for very long. They like to switch songs in the middle of their they got the Spotify playlist. They're like, okay, like I got my fix out of that, like 2 minutes of that song into my next favorite song.
Yeah.
So like that's how I feel like as DJing. Like I like to be in and out, but also like what's hot right now is all the tech house, and they let the songs ride a little bit. They let it breathe and stuff. I'm just, as everyone's going that tech house wave, I'm trying to be different. Like stay true to who I am and not try to follow that wave a little bit. But
I mean, you said you mentioned you were doing this for 15 years, right? You've been doing this for a while.
yes.
And so
I don't want to age myself.
No,
yeah,
sorry.
a long time.
But in terms of just the marketing and getting the music out there, how has that evolved, and the inclusion of social media, TikTok, and all these other platforms?
I've always been kind of like good at that because being an open format DJ, you kind of know about record pools.
Okay.
So like if you're any young DJ too and you want to learn about like make sure you're sending when you make an edit to get like a solid email list of the top record pools, and then make sure you don't send a separate email to each one of them. Don't BCC all of them or CC all of them and send them all at once. Be personable and be like, hey, bpmsupreme.com or djcity.com. I really love your website. I really wish you would support my record. It's da-da-da. And then build relationships with them. And then once they start, because that's a hub where all the DJs will go and get their stuff. And then that's how I got my stuff to start blowing up.
How would you say the grind for DJing has changed over the years? Like, I'm sure back then it wasn't all social media,
it changes
right?
every day.
Yeah.
Oh my, and my manager is so mad at me that I'm not good at TikTok yet.
We got to get you doing that.
Oh my God, it's not even, I mean, you can do anything on TikTok,
right?
But yeah, and I have Loud Luxury on my team,
right?
And they are crushing it on TikTok.
Yeah,
and it's so hard to like just say no to them when they're like, "Oh, look it, we got 100,000." They really did. Like their last post got 10 million.
Wow,
10 million views, and it's just them playing at a show.
Yeah,
damn, look at that reach.
Yeah, of course,
it's undeniable.
And what you can do with that as well, right?
Yeah,
and
absolutely. And I'm not going to be the type of guy who's going to whine about the guys who are taking my spot because they're good at TikTok. Like I respect those guys. There's guys out there right now that are taking my spot right now because they just blew up on TikTok. And I'm not going to be that old guy and be like, oh, it's just a TikTok DJ. I'm like, no, he did it. He made it work and he took my spot. That's just straight up.
Do you view your peers as competition and friendly competition in order to push yourself
further? You gotta
further?
always have competition.
Yeah.
Always put yourself in a competition where like with your peers because, I mean, I think it's fun for one, and then
of course.
I mean, what else is gonna drive you?
Yeah. I mean, you're living every kid's dream right now, right? Like the rockstar life.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like I'm still way down here, but
yeah. Like I mean, you're getting to travel. You're playing your sets. Like you're on tours, right? That's like a kid dreams about that stuff, kind of like. So does it ever feel like surreal to you at times?
Yeah, I actually do have to pinch myself sometimes.
Yeah.
Because literally, this is exactly what my dream was.
Yeah.
Like literally being on a stage with like Good Times Ahead, and just I looked up to them so much when in like 2010 and 11 when they had the Express Yourself and they were doing that twerk.
Yeah.
I just literally shared the stage. They literally played right after me, and then like people like Alesso that I still play their songs in my sets like today, and they were putting it out in 2011, 12. Like I gotta pinch myself sometimes. I'm like, these are all my idols that I'm hanging out with.
Yeah. What was one moment where you were like, wow, I can't believe I'm in this room, or I can't believe this has happened to me?
Dinner, the first time Tiesto invited me to dinner.
What was that like?
In Vegas.
If you can share some information.
Oh my God, it's just unreal. Like,
was it like order anything you want? I got it.
It
or?
was because I don't know. I don't want to put him on blast.
No.
Anyway,
Yeah.
In his residency at Hakkasan, they put him on a different. It's called like the Billionaire Suites or something, or Billionaire's Row. I don't know what it's called, but it's something that's in Hakkasan, but it's not in the hotel. It's its own hotel, and he's got his own butler, and then they have the chef that will literally make you anything that you say.
Wow.
So, like, he's like, when he sat me down at dinner, he's like, what do you want? And I'm like, I don't know, do you have a menu? And he's like, no, what do you want? And I'm like, I don't know, what do you want? He's like, tell me what you want.
How do you respond to that?
This guy's gonna make you whatever you want. And I'm like, what? Like, literally, it's like that. And
does that motivate you?
yeah, 100%.
You should have,
Yeah, that was the coolest thing ever.
What was the conversation like with Tiesto? Like sitting down to dinner with him,
I mean,
right?
I can't even remember it because I was just starstruck the whole time. But he's cool. He's a really nice guy, and it was kind of like business.
Yeah.
Because this is the first time that he was like talking to me, and he was just kind of like trying to get down to like get to know me and what do I want out of this, and kind of just trying to give me his advice and what he could offer, and he ended up signing me to his record label for like 6 songs that was unheard of. He's like, this is my first time I've ever done this. He's like, and then it's all just kicked off from there.
Yeah, especially when like your idols praise you for some of your work.
Yeah,
I
and
can't
actually,
imagine what that
the
feels
reason
like.
I have my management and when I'm with like Loud Luxury and stuff is because Tiesto, I was with him in Vegas. He turned around and he like looked at Adrian, who's my manager, who's also Loud Luxury's manager, and was like, if you want a good manager, that's your dude right there.
Wow.
And then like literally introduced him to me. And then so like just that alone kind of really helped my career take off because my manager's great. Loud Luxury's amazing. Loud Luxury,
they're killing it.
shout out to Canada and Loud Luxury. They have taken care of your boy. Like I feel great. I'm like the only American on the Northside roster, but they're wonderful. Yeah, those guys, I owe them a lot. I owe my whole team, Parker and Matt and Adrian, a lot.
I mean, the 15 years of struggle, right? And now you're finally like,
finally getting somewhere. I'm still so far away from where I want to be, but I'm getting somewhere.
Right. And
yeah, I can't complain where I'm at all.
What does that feel like? Because you've been working for something for so long, right?
Yeah.
And you're finally seeing it flourish. Like, what is that feeling like? Are you still like in awe about it, or?
Yeah, every day I'm in awe about it. But I'm also like, there's a lot of pressure on. Like, once you get to a level, it stops being a little like. It was always just fun for me. It was always like I'm making music to make music, and then once you start getting an agent, and then you get management, and then the label, you get all this pressure.
Sure.
And then you get a little bit of input from somebody you don't want input from, or like, oh, you should change this, or shorten this, or you're like I just spent so much I put my heart into this record, and I like the way it is, and then they just want to change it. That's hard, but I gotta live with it.
Was there an area of the music industry that you weren't aware of before going on? Like, I'm sure, like, as a kid, when you're making music in your room, the sole goal is to make a good track.
Yeah.
And now you have a management team and you're traveling.
Now it's just make money.
You make money?
It's more like, because I got to make everyone, like, nobody's there doing that stuff for free.
Yeah.
Everyone's relying on me to, like, but the way I'm going to make money is just to let myself be free. Like, I mean, that's the way I like started blowing up. It's like I was trying to do something that other people weren't doing, not follow the mold. And I just hate. I think the reason I don't like. I'm not saying I don't like it, but the reason like I'm a little flustered right now is that I feel like I'm getting pushed to make cookie cutter, like exactly what is hot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just not really. Not for me.
Mm-hmm. It's like you're not getting your creative juices flowing.
Yeah,
right?
like I like to have a more saturated master, push it, and I don't want it so clean like on Spotify. I kind of want it distorted. Like I want a rawness and a sound, but that's just not for radio.
Sure.
It's not for streaming, and I mean it shows. My streams aren't all that great, but I like the way my music sounds, and it's just to me. It's just like custom to like what I like. I like a turned up snare that shouldn't be that loud, and just like some rawness to it, and some like I don't know how to explain it, but
do you use your music as an outlet for your own emotions and telling a story?
Yes, 100%.
And
I from day to day I could tell like if I'm in a bad mood or a good mood, like how my melodies come out or that. Yeah, for sure.
So what's the creative process like when you're in the studio? Are you going there just to get the reps in, or like you're going in there in certain modes?
A lot of times I go in there just to mess around. Mostly I go in there to mess around, and then if something comes out of it, well, not so much. Like I just feel like I'm in the studio every day.
Sure.
So I'm just usually messing around because I'm just trying to learn stuff and trying to get better. But there's definitely times that I'm so just struggling on just trying to get a record right for the label or something, and that's when I like get turned off of music.
Yeah.
Like when I'm like, like I like it, but they don't. It sucks. Like I would just rather just put this on my SoundCloud and not like have them have it. Like, but I mean, it's give and take. Like the labels have given me such a platform to go off on, and given me collaborations that I'd never dream of. Like I literally just started a song with Chainsmokers.
Yeah.
Like that wouldn't happen when on my regular life without a label. So
I asked a version of this earlier, but what keeps you going, man? Like what are the next level that you want to reach, and what is your plan to reach that? And I even talking to you now, you said you've had like 5 hours of sleep, and you're still grinding. You're still be able to make this happen.
No, I'm on 1 hour.
Oh, sorry, my bad. And you just performed as well. You just came off stage.
Sleep off a flight. I'm a little bit buzzed.
But that's the life. That's the life
hungry,
you chose.
I haven't
right?
ate. I chose this.
Yeah.
And I'm happy. I'm not complaining at all. The next step, I would say.
Are we gonna see you at
keep
Coachella?
going. That's my dream.
EDC,
Honestly,
Coachella.
As soon as Coachella happens and I'm in the Sahara tent, then I'll quit.
Wow. Your management's not gonna like that.
But the Sarah Sense a dream of mine, just because it's a local California
Right.
festival, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
go there. It's probably the most attended festival that I've ever been to, and I've been going to it for like 10 years, and every time I go there, I'm like, I want to play this so bad, so bad.
Is that where you'll say that you've like finally achieved your highlight
Yeah, because
goal?
I already played EDC main stage, and
Right.
that didn't do it for me. So I think maybe Coachella.
Yeah.
Maybe,
Yeah.
but hasn't maybe Sahara Tent one time, and then when I make the main stage, then I'm like, okay, I made it.
Yeah. That's
As soon as you're Calvin Harris or like Swedish House Mafia,
yes, sir. Yes.
Tiesto.
Talk about growing up in San Diego as well. Like, what's the music scene like there? How much love did you receive? Was there
You know
was there
what?
people who looked down at you at the beginning?
My family, my dad really wanted me to play baseball. And he was so upset, and I went to college for baseball.
Wow.
And I think I would have got into DJing and producing way sooner if it wasn't for my dad thinking I was going to be some professional baseball player.
Wow.
So I really wish instead of going to baseball practice every day, I was taking piano lessons, or I was opening up Ableton and learning Pro Tools. So I just feel like I was a little tardy on getting to know the ins and outs of music. I was always listening to music. I always had to have the biggest system in my car. Always had to have the newest. I was stealing music off Napster back then, trying to have the newest beats and like, and always have my like the biggest subs in the back. I just love
the bass
music.
booming,
I just
yeah.
love that that vibe.
Uh-huh.
And my parents didn't get it. They just wanted me to play sports and do good in school. And I mean, I did good in school and stuff, but I just feel like I wasted a lot of time that I was into music, but my parents didn't let me like really fulfill that until my grandma actually, for my birthday, I really talked her into go and get me a guitar.
Yeah.
And luckily, that pro audio guy was like, yo, let me show you the DJ stuff. And really got me turned on to Serato. So and then I started on turntables on my computer, and then I did clubs, and I was playing hip hop, twerk, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then over the years, only like 3 years ago is when I started playing just strictly house.
Okay.
Yeah.
So was it more of like just finding your sound and what you're good at, or just like?
Yeah, because I had different aliases. I started
Right.
dubstep, I did twerk, I had different names.
Yeah.
And then just, I think once Fisher put out, no, not even, it was before that. Actually, no, this is what happened. Martin Solveig, you know Martin Solveig?
Sure.
He put out a remix contest for one of his songs, and I just like, I want to enter it. And then it was house, and I was like, I'm just going to make a house. And I made a house, and I won.
Oh wow.
And then I won that competition, and then like he called me, and then was like, "Yo, I'm playing this in my sets right now," and this guy's like huge. And then I was like, "Man, this house stuff's kind of easy." And so I just like started making more of it, and then I was like, well. Then Fisher started blowing up, and then I was a fan of Chris Lake, and so I was like, what if I try to make a song that sounds like Skrillex at first, Chris Lake in the middle, and Skrillex at the end, or something like that.
Yeah.
And I put this all together, and so I have like. And that's how I came up with like my formula of like how I structured my drops. Like hard, and then I let off, and then a little like vibey, like fishery at the end. And that just like that's, I don't know if you guys ever heard like Tremor in the Cinema, like that's exactly like that's the first one that really like took off for me. And then that's the one that Tiesto started touring with. And then when Tiesto started touring my music with like 3 songs in a set every single time he played a festival, that's when my career like took off.
Did you know that Tiesto was playing it, or how did you?
Because there's a 101 track list thing.
Oh,
and,
okay.
And my accounts attach this like, it just gives you alerts.
Oh, okay,
When you
okay.
play my stuff, it'll just alert me.
It wasn't like somebody like sent you a video of going on and then.
Yes. But those guys at 101 Tracklist, they know exactly. I don't know. I feel like they have like team at every festival. They're just looking at every single song that they play. And yeah.
That must have been like you must have had chills when like you found that out.
When that first happened, like it's kind of like died down now.
Yeah.
But I wish I could feel that feeling every day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just euphoria. Like, oh my God, the king. Like, Tiesto was playing my stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Talk about also the touring life as well, right?
Yeah.
This lifestyle is not an easy one.
It's definitely one that I wanted so bad, but then when you get it, you're like, damn, I didn't really realize, like, you're in an airport all day,
Yeah.
most of the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, and then when you start out and you're like not making, if you're not the top tier, you're not really like flying first class,
Sure.
and so you're not taking. Maybe you have to take an early flight, or you might not have to take a direct flight.
Sure.
Man, and those connections, and if you miss a connection, you're like, it's not even your fault. Like, the plane takes off 20 minutes late, and you're missing that, and you're like, stresses you out so much because you don't want to miss this gig, and they're paying you a lot of money, and you're like, it definitely has given me a few fucking zits before in my life. I'm like, oh my god, stress. Yeah, it's a lot of stress.
And also speak about the fan interactions.
Yeah.
What is I want to know one of the craziest fan interactions you've had, or one that stuck out that you're like.
I can't really say that.
Okay,
on
okay.
the air. Girls are wild.
Yeah. we could probably put the pieces together.
So what about performing at Summer of Sound? What was that experience like?
Oh, it was great. Really
Yeah.
great. Yeah, I love the Akil who puts it on. Really good friend of ours, and I mean, they said this is the biggest one they've ever done.
I think so, yeah. Because COVID was down for a couple of years, and now everyone's just ready to go
this is my
wild.
first one, so I have nothing to compare it to.
Sure.
But it seems great.
It's the biggest one.
No.
Yeah.
Was the audience good? Like they were vibing with your
Yeah,
stuff?
absolutely.
Hey, Winnipeg, you got to show our boy, you know, like show our boy some love.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Any advice? I mean, you've been giving a lot of advice to young DJs out there, but anything you want to leave the audience with?
Just, it's not going to be a straight line to the top. Like, if you're not getting booked right away, and just keep at it, and then, like I said, you're going to get back what you give. So make sure you're putting out music, because as good as DJ as you are, you're not going to ever sell tickets to a venue unless your music is global or like to the retail market. So what clubs want the most is tickets sold. So it's not about how good a DJ you are, it's about how many tickets they can sell.
Yeah.
And that's how you're going to get booked. Either like, are they going to book me, or are they going to book A-Craze? A-Craze had a bigger year. Like, they're going to sell more tickets. They're going to book him first. Same with me. I got to deal with the same stuff as the local DJs. Am I gonna pull more tickets than the local DJ? Probably. So I'm gonna get booked. So just put out music. Try to make your music more globally, or like more. I don't know. Try to hit the retail market. Try to hit people that aren't even into that kind of music. Get it so like widespread that they start hearing your music, and that's when you're gonna get somewhere.
All right.
Thank you so much, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for making the time, and I think on that note, it's a perfect way to end up the podcast. If you haven't already, make sure to check them out. We'll tag everything in the description below.
Thank you for coming by Winnipeg. If you're ever here again, let us know.
And we'd love to do it again.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right. That's it.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Peace.
Thanks.